Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Gaming with Blockchain. I'm your host, A and we are talking about Upland. Uplanders, what has been happening? A lot's been happening, as we know. I've been seeing so many things moving along. Um, and I'm now currently in Manhattan. Why am I in Manhattan from San Fran? Well, guess what? They had the comic hero tour in Upland in the Manhattan area yesterday. And hopefully, if you guys are playing, you had a chance to play and participate. And they did a tour around the Manhattan. And you know, Manhattan is this epic center of comics for many major comics, Marvel, DC, and large independents like Image Comics as well. And myself being a comic fan, I definitely had to take a chance and go around and take a tour. So this is where I am right now, and it was a great tour. They had informational insights and little tidbits on the history of some of the comics, from Punisher to Daredevil, Superman, Batman. It was a relatively it was not even relatively it was entertaining. It was great. It was one of these tours, if you've been playing Upland, that you get to experience every now and then, and you get to gain some UpX for that participation as well. So now, what does that mean really? So think of it. I was in San Francisco, and here's a tour that was happening in Manhattan. And as I had mentioned before, what's this going to mean moving on for the whole metaverse? It's almost going to be like you being in real life. Okay, there's an event in another city. How much do I really want to go to that event, or to a show, or any kind of special occasion? You have to make a choice. I'm going to travel to city A, I'm going to travel to city B, and we've talked about that. And this is what's happening now. Overall, over time, they're going to have even more tours. Only can start to imagine. I mean, recently they had some auctions that are being given away. So other benefits, if you listen to certain teams or players that generate their own other online content. I mean, of course, I'm not the only one. So there's so much other values of opportunities that are now being developed and created. So these tours are just going to keep coming along more and more and more, and it will be interesting to see how frequently the tours come in. That now these choices are going to be coming to the fruition. Just like, okay, which cities are going to be sitting, you're going to go to buy, if cities are being released simultaneously. Imagine if tours are being simultaneously, or maybe, you know slight delay, maybe a few hours delay or a day delay. How would you now make those choices? Where am I going to travel? Which one is probably most cost efficient? And that's what's coming along really, really well. Now, Upland recently also had a 60-minute interview this past Sunday, or I should say 60 minutes plus, and because of that, I guess the interest most likely sparked a lot of participation into the market, and that means they get to celebrate their 1 millionth property sale. And what does that mean? Well, guess what? They're doing a celebration this weekend. Again, it will include a bit more Spark rewards and some UpX. But here's we've hit, or I should say, Upland has hit the 1 millionth property sale as of the 15th of June, and now let's market. Let's market with the celebration ways of doing that, and they're doing a few of these celebrations coming along. And I'll put this all in the show notes so that you can prepare yourself for this weekend's way to participate in what you can gain in terms of Spark. And of course, it's going to be heavy, heavy hitters. So they're looking to target about 300 million UpX in volume over the course of two days. So that's a lot. There's a lot of buying and selling, a lot of activity going through the pipelines. And this is what this will mean in the tiers, and what tiers that you'll be involved in, and what Spark rewards you will receive. Um, Madness, is that the right word to describe it? Sure. Why not? It will be exciting. It's one of these many opportunities to showcase appreciation for all the players who've helped build this new opportunity for Upland and hitting this benchmark. Like it's not something that you would take lightly. You can see that here's the notes and the further link from the article in Upland, and they documented it here nicely in terms of the AP website, AP News. There we go. So we want to now fine tune a few things. There's another opportunity that's coming along, and I'm just going to find that right now. And medium. Let's see what is the other news that they had. And let me see. Oh yes, there we go. This is what I wanted to mention. The new tier, as if the tiers weren't high enough. But here you go. Again, it's something to strive for. If you're a leaderboard enthusiast and you like going after a target, this is definitely something that you'd probably be excited about. They've created a new tier called Chief Executive. This is for 100 million UPX, so $100,000 in game. This is something that if you do achieve this by Monday, you gain some spark. And so there's a few players that are really trying to up their tiers. And again, another incentive, another opportunity to reward players for their contributions and support. So the great new tier. This is a new shield that you'll see that floating around with a new block explorer. So you'll understand what that all means. Now, what will be happening as well is that they're going to be doing like a Father's Day special this Sunday in terms of what they'll be offering in participation to the 1 million 1 million March wrong in terms of the 1 millionth NFT sale. Let me get that right. So it'll be many layers in which you want to be stay tuned for and look at in terms of the deadlines, and make sure that you're not missing any deadlines. You want to also make sure that if you're going to register and register for any event, again, remember to select the appropriate city to do so. You'll see that little icon here. So when I went for this tour here, and it shows all the tours, which is great. I'm glad that they still kept it up. You want to be able to assure that because the tour was in Manhattan, so you're clicking the city that you want to participate in, and make sure you just get there in time. So that's one of the things you want to kind of pay attention to once all these activities start to become more frequent, which I'm assuming that will happen. They'll also be doing a Chicago auction or Chicago registry. Remember that I said in the marketplace you get to register. These are going to be special registrations, and I had shown that a couple of weeks ago in terms of what the marketplace will look like for certain NFTs if they want to release it. So I'm going to just do a quick reminder, and that's what you will see. You will have a particular timeline which you register for something, and then once the sale opens up, you will be able to, depending where you are in the queue, you'll be able to buy that particular property or NFT. So now they've prepared to open up the registration for train terminals in Chicago and Cleveland. And you'll be able to see some starting price points between the $295 and $350, and it's only 10. So don't be surprised if you try to register and you see your queue at maybe 200. A lot of people will be jumping on that quite quickly. There's, like I said, this will now be non-stop. This will be something that will be a continuous factor in the game, and I don't see why that change in the near future as new features become released, new events come into play, new NFTs start to happen. Just read through all the details and you'll see where you would like to be and what will be of interest to you. So I'm not going to make you guys go crazy and get nauseous. Now let's take a look at what's going on in as far as the builds go. Because remember, San Francisco was the first build. Now let's take a tour around the area and see how our areas now filling up with builds. And a lot of players have been contributing to other players to help build their properties faster. And you can see a few spots are starting to fill out nicely. Even though like you've seen all blue and green, but the builds are now starting to surface, and which is what we want to see. And then on top of that, you can imagine now once the outdoor decors come in, maybe a bench, maybe a light post. Who knows what kind of decors will now you can add to the property or add to around the neighborhood, around the area. And so again, it is anticipated to bring in more value, more structure. So we have one here that's now complete, and so and that's for sale. They're putting that one up for sale. But again, now did they add value to that sale? Did that change the price point? Again, that's something we have to look at the markets for. Um, Let me see what else. You see another neighborhood. We kind of scope around. We'll zoom in a little bit more. So this A neighborhood's not much happening here, which is okay. Everyone's being a little unsure because what they're going to do, how are they going to do it, what spark they're going to contribute. Because remember, these properties now, when they are built, they stay. You have to demolish them yourself. They don't get removed from the game at all. This is all entirely you as a property owner or the game NFT owner. This is what you're doing. Here's another build that's now finished, and you can scope around and see. I will do the zoom out in the 3 degrees, but not just yet. So you can see it's coming along, and everyone's getting their sparks, so it means properties are being built, which I should show, and you can find out if they have any contributors. So let's take a look here. And you can go more, and you can look contribute, and you can see the details of what's going on. And that's fine. Like this is how it's going to be moving forward. Now they're supposed to be bringing in another few options for their property selection. Right now you only have, if I were to build here, just for the sake of showing what the choices will be, you only have 4 choices at the moment. The latest news is that they're probably going to add a 5th option as well before I'm not sure if it's going to be before the outdoor decor or at the same time, but it will be nice. I'm kind of curious to find out what that 5th option will be. But again, is adding again more templates to the building structures, and so that not everything's going to be always the same, and is hopefully broadening the selection choices for owners, because not everyone is going to have the size requirement of a property that can fit a build, and this will hopefully provide a little bit more choices for everybody. So that'll be interesting to find out how that spins out. So now I have to go through and take a look and see what's going on here. And you can imagine, once the city, I would assume, has a certain percentage of builds, just like a certain percentage of sales, then the build features probably will be released into other cities as well. A good way to kind of not so much just control it, but assure that the build features are working properly before you release it to another city, too prematurely, in fact. So we're going to look at what's going on here. And here is a property. So this is the area I've been harping on and helping, saying, okay, guys, let's, telling guys and girls, this is the zone I've been working with, and hopefully we have more things happening. I haven't been able to put a lot of the structures in place, but I do appreciate everyone who's building here. I do thank you very much, and I have to give a special shout out to, and again, I couldn't verify if it was the same name in the username or not, but Elusa Cavia and Micah Abraham, or Micah Abraham, sorry, my apologies. I thank you again for contributing some spark. Once you're ready to build, please let me know. We will definitely uh, do much of assistance for you there as well. So thank you. But now I'm going to do my part. I'm going to now add a bit more spark to some members within the builds here in Portugal Hill, and I think it's only fair. I'll help where I can. It's about paying it forward, and then we know it's also about a competition and making sure you advance more than somebody else, and blah blah blah. But we're still early. We're still a bit early, and I want to make sure that um, we can each achieve what we need to at an appropriate pace. It won't be too much fun if everyone's jumping too far ahead and we're not embracing as many players as we can. So I'm just going to randomly, you know, let me see. Actually, let me get outside the borders a bit. Let me see anything completely out of the ordinary. Some of best. Okay, let's see what we got. Let's give you a bit of a boost. Nope. Now, one thing I'm wondering why I couldn't put it in automatically. There we go. So that should give them a couple of days. Now, again, depending on the build and where they are in the build stage, it can have a significant impact or not. So, like I said, just very random. That crash. See where they are. 950, 11 days and 14 hours. So let's see what changes here. Yeah, too bad you can't put it in manually. It has to be updated, so we can't see where that update has changed. So this is what we're facing, everybody. We're getting to cities that are going to have multiple choices of direction, what's going on, and how you make these choices, how you team up with other players and associations. You'll see many associations now starting to pop up, organization and plans happening in and around the city. We looked at Cleveland before, or have we? I'm not sure if we did. Um, there we go. But now let's take a peek. Let's see if the map is there. It was there before, and now, yeah, you can see the general stuff, but you already see what's downtown. You see the outlines of what's going on, and you have an idea. You have an idea of what will happen now. Would this now be the same thing as Cleveland? I mean, not as Cleveland, as Chicago, where it's maybe 15% FSA versus the 85% open to every market. I would suspect this would probably be maybe like a 25-75. This is probably a tier 2 city, but I can entirely be wrong. Only time will tell. We'll find out in the next few days, I would imagine, as they're now trying to put biddings for the terminals and transport terminals around. Um, interesting layout, interesting neighborhoods. It will be really nice to take a look and find out what the markets will have accordingly. Okay. So where there we have it. We see that Upland is now really about to push the envelope. As I said, it's June, and this is just this. We're just about midway through June right now. There's so much more things happening. Just don't forget, digital automakers has also been part of the onboarding as well. We we just we definitely know there's a major push to get a lot of things moving ahead from their slight delay. I hope you find this interesting. I hope you find this informal as you make your plans and as you listen through and watch what's going on. I'm kind of gonna be curious to find out what Upland Knights have presented in terms of what their explorer will be. So each person who's completed a tour also gets an explorer. I forgot to mention that. So it'll be interesting to find out what that explorer looks like. But like I said, I'm very happy that they've kept this long enough so people, if they were curious, they can go back and review. And I'll give you a little preview of what that was. So you had to travel to each location, and each location then you were given a UPX. And so once you complete it, then it's registered, and you gain an explorer later on as part of your assets. So and I think once that comes in, the assets will be dropped in my asset section or later on. So right now these are all the previous one: the film production, Love Bus, the Bloody Tour, the Artist Palette. These are all the previous tours that they've had, and the only future ones that will be coming along. This is now the structure, which is nothing has been complete yet, and the properties, which again too, as I had stated in the previous ones, that they're opening up the API and hopefully have better property management or enhanced property management. So that's it. That's where we stand for Upland. I hope you've had a chance to take a look. Again, thank you for following and sharing. I definitely appreciate all the feedback, all the commentary, and definitely the new signups that have come on board. There's lots on the horizon, so stay tuned. Thank you. Take care.